Welcome back to Joyfully at Home. Today we're going to make a wonderful St. Patrick's Day dessert, which is quick and easy to make, and you don't even have to turn on the oven. It's nice and light and fluffy. It's got a little bit of a cheesecake base, like a no-bake type cheesecake, and it's just a really nice light St. Patrick's dessert with a little touch of mint to it. So we're going to go ahead and get right started. Few steps to this, few ingredients, super easy. So to get started, we're going to make a Oreo crumb base for our dessert. So you can use regular Oreos if you want, but I'm actually making it a little bit extra minty by using the mint Oreos. So we're just going to go ahead and start by putting those into our food processor. And if you don't have a food processor, I honestly did not have one for many, many years. I was stubborn about getting one because I thought they were kind of silly. But anyway, I didn't have one for many years. So you can do it the old-fashioned way too, with a rolling pin in a Ziploc bag. And you can just go ahead and pound them away and make nice crumbs that way also. I wound up giving in to everybody telling me I needed to do things a little bit easier, and I wound up getting a food processor. So yes, it does make the process a little bit quicker. So we'll start right off by getting our lid on, and we will start to pulse these down into some coarse crumbs. Then we'll add our other ingredients as we get down a little bit closer to having our complete crumbs. So as you can see, our crumbs are starting to come together. If you have a big cookie, you can kind of break them apart with your fingers, but we're starting to get down to our crumbs. So now we'll add a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and then we'll just continue this process until we have nice fine Oreo crumbs. So now that we've combined our sugar and our Oreo crumbs, our Oreo cookies, we've made nice crumbs, and you can see it's all come together nicely into a crumb mixture. So now we're going to go ahead and put our lid back on and take that off so we can put our food processor back on low, and we'll add a 1/2 cup of melted butter. And as you can see now, we have a nice crumb mixture that can be packed into our dessert dishes for the first layer of our St. Patrick's dessert. You see it packs together nicely. So with our butter in there, it makes a nice base for our dessert. So now that we have our crumb ready to put in the bottom of our dessert dishes, we're also going to set just a small amount, about an eighth of a cup or so, a few tablespoons, nothing a lot, but we're going to go ahead and set that aside just to use that little bit of crumble for the top of our dessert. So now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to start by putting this in our dishes. Just put a good base layer down in there and just kind of pat it down into the bottom of your dishes. And you'll just go ahead and do this for about 6 to 8 dishes, depending on how thick you want your bottom layer. But you will get about 6 to 8 desserts out of this. And just go ahead and pat it down in there. And this is what we will add our next layer on, which is basically like a chocolate no-bake cheesecake type of layer. Okay, now that we've got our crumb layer all in our little dessert dishes, we're just going to go ahead and set these aside until we're ready to add our next layer, which is going to be our no-bake chocolate cheesecake layer. So we're going to go ahead and set those aside. And now in our mixer, we are going to start off with a softened brick of cream cheese. We're going to go ahead and we're going to just start our mixer and get that beaten up a little bit. Go ahead from here. We will add a teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to add 1 regular size package. It's a 3.9 ounce package of chocolate instant pudding. So we're just going to go ahead and add that right into our mixer. And then we're going to go ahead and add a 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. This will create this nice velvety no-bake cream cheese type layer. So now we're going to go ahead and turn our mixer back on, and we're going to beat this into a consistency that's going to be very light. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mix all these ingredients for our next layer. Now we're going to pull our bowl off, and you can see the texture that we have with our chocolate cream cheese layer. It's nice, it's thick, it's creamy, and it's fluffy. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to clean off our beater, and we're going to add this to our crumb layer. We're going to just put a layer of this right on top of our crumb layer, and I'll probably manage to do our layer with a pastry bag. You can certainly spoon it in, you can spread it out with a spatula, however you like. I just find using a pastry bag helps me with a little more control on getting my layers even. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get our pastry bag ready to add our next layer. So now that we have our pastry bag filled with our chocolate cream cheese filling, we're just essentially gonna add our chocolate layer right on top. And if you'd like, as I say, you can then just take a small spatula and just smooth it out so it reaches out to your sides. Now that we have our chocolate cheesecake layer on our desserts, we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish with our mint topping, which is essentially the same kind of idea, only minus the cream cheese. This is just whipping cream and vanilla pudding. Makes a nice light fluffy topping, and as I say, this is a great quick no bake kind of thing that you can make for St. Patrick's Day or really anytime. You don't have to add the mint. You can do vanilla pudding with like an orange oil or an orange extract to make it summery. You can even do raspberry, do chocolate and raspberry together. You can really do any kind of combination you want. So, but for today, we are sticking with our St. Patrick's theme. So we're gonna start this time with 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, 1/4 cup of sugar. We're gonna go ahead and add, again, just a normal size box. This is about a 3.4 ounce box of vanilla pudding. We're going to take a teaspoon of mint extract, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add just a little bit of green coloring when we get a little bit farther in the mix of this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start this all off and mix up our topping. Once you've got your cream topping, you've got it mostly whipped, you're going to stop about halfway. And then that's when you'll go ahead and you'll take a little bit of just a gel colorant, and you can just add a little bit to the center of your beater, and that will distribute that color all the way through your topping. And with your topping, you want to start always, when you start your mixer, you're going to always want to start it off on low when you very first start your topping. Anything you mix, generally, you're going to want to start low. But as you go, whip, because this is a form of a whipped topping, because you have your heavy whipping cream in here, you're going to want to put it up on high. That'll give it a nice whip, nice fluffiness, and your whipped topping will come together fairly quickly. So we're going to go ahead and add our green now, and we're going to finish this up. So now that your cream topping is all ready, you see it's a nice, thick, but yet fluffy texture with our mint and our little bit of green. And we're going to go ahead and fill another pastry bag and go ahead and top our dessert off. With this also, again, you can either use a pastry bag, you can use it fitted with a piping tip, or you can just spoon it in too. It doesn't have to be complicated, however you would like to do it, and whatever materials you have on hand. Again, like I say, this is so easy, it doesn't have to be complicated. Now that you've got your piping bag all full, and you're ready to add your topping, you can just go ahead and pipe your topping on. Very, very simple. And like I say, You don't have to get fancy if you don't want to, or if you don't have the materials. You can do that. And then with our little bit of our crumb topping that we reserved earlier from our bottom, just take a little bit and just crumble it onto the top. And it just gives you a little bit of a prettiness, a little bit of a crumble on your St. Patrick's Day dessert.